Cool. We made it.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Year. Yeah. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah. You're like, first. Is it your first time here in the podcast?
Yes.
It's been interesting few years, right?
Yes. Oh, geez. I remember this balcony. It's been a few years. Yeah. When you said interesting.
We had the like what did we have? Christmas party or something, right? Holiday party up here outside in the balcony.
We had a lot of
because everything was closed, right? But yeah, like your kids, watch your kids grow up, and you spent a lot of years. Like you helped me with my dad. You know, he passed away this last year, but it was like you like saved the day when he was stuck in, I mean, between my sister, at the VA, but like us to get him out of the hospital, to get him out of the system.
That was tough. That was a lot of fighting with the doctors and the nurses, and yeah.
And then my own kids, with 17 and Sereny and Sona, the tournaments and just help, and like kids are always together, like our boys are together right now even, right? So it's been I'm really grateful. Really grateful to you, Anjanette, for everything that you have done for me personally, but also for so many people around the gym. You help so many people, like with your enthusiasm, with your support, always like that supportive, like say like a mom, like the mom of the gym.
Mom.
Yeah,
I'm the gym mom.
But you're such a big force in legacy, and so it's it's a big honor, one for me to put a black belt on you for all your hard work for all these years, acknowledgement, and just to kind of like just have you being a part of all of our lives. I appreciate you a lot.
And I appreciate you. It's not hard to do it here. It's a big community. When I step foot in the gym, there's that instant feeling of, oh, okay, it's not intimidating. So it's not hard to be supportive of the community that supports me.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
4 kids.
4 kids. 27. My oldest is a girl, Kyla. She's 27, and 3 boys, 22, 14, and 12.
So you get your hands full.
Single mom, busy. 4 kids. Yeah.
How did you get started in jiu-jitsu?
My ex-husband was in the Air Force, so we were stationed in Virginia. And I Googled the most, not soft, but like a gentle martial art, and literally gentle martial art. When I typed that, jiu-jitsu popped up. I'm like,
you
okay.
put gentle martial art? Really?
Yes, because I didn't want to do like something that was full contact. So, for example, like karate, I didn't want to get hit in the face.
Okay. I
didn't want to get hit in the face.
Fair enough.
So I Yelped it and then found a gym by my house in Virginia, in Woodbridge, called Trident. And it's run by Pat Trey, who's a Navy SEAL. And walked in, signed up, or actually I took a jiu-jitsu class with the boys. And we did the warm-ups, and I threw up after the
How old was Dresden at the time?
That was 7 years ago. So he was 7. 7, and Enzo was probably 4. But we signed up together as a family. So I went in, I put on the gi, did the warm-ups, and I threw up doing the forward rolls. And I was like, no, I can't do this. This is I'm out of shape. I was never athletic. And then they had Muay Thai, they had Jeet Kune Do. So the boys stayed in jiu-jitsu. And then I did Jeet Kune Do, which is the Bruce Lee martial art. And I did Muay Thai. So I did that for a few months. And then I liked it, but I was hurt a lot. Like my hips would hurt and my knees would hurt in Muay Thai. Then they had MMA classes. So they said, you need some grappling experience. So I went back to jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And then I did both, and I just stuck to jiu-jitsu full time when I moved back to LA.
So were you born in the Philippines?
No, I was born and raised here in LA.
In Glendale area?
In Hollywood.
Hollywood. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so you grew up here. So that's what brought you back to
LA.
To LA.
Right. So my father. So we were only going to come here for the summer. We were only going to. So let's say this is summer of 2017. The boys and I were only going to come here for the summer, and my dad had an accident in the Philippines. So my dad was in the Philippines when I came here, and he was slated to come back within that summer time frame. Something happened to him. He hit his head. He had like a subdural hematoma, and the hospital called and said, "Hey, you need to pick up your dad. He can't be. It's just short of a medevac." So I went there. Long story short, he could not live alone when he came back because he was living with my brother.
Oh, okay.
So I said, okay.
Big change, huh?
Huge change for me because I had to uproot everything from Virginia, move everything, and then come here. Thankfully, I was working remote. So I was able to get all my things, still work, and then move back with my dad to take care of him.
And then you were in, was that Glendale? The Glendale
Yes,
house? Okay,
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
the
Yeah,
Glendale
you were there
house.
for a while.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what made you, you came into Legacy?
Yes.
Okay. Around the same time?
Yes. So we had come probably around April, May of 2017, visited, and then went back to Virginia, and then came back again around July. That's when we ended up staying. And I was training under Higan Machado at the time on Wilshire, but they didn't have a kids class. So yes, they didn't have a kids class. So I had enrolled.
That's how we got you, huh?
That's how you got us.
Yeah, this place is awesome. Why don't I get to go anywhere else?
You didn't have a kids class, and I didn't want to separate. So I didn't want to train there and then train here. You had everything. Everything was. This is a one-stop shop. Muay Thai, everything. So we enrolled, and I found Legacy on Yelp. And we were living in Hollywood at the time, and it was the closest jiu-jitsu gym that had a kids program that had the highest reviews.
Okay.
So I was reading the reviews. I'm like, oh, okay. So came, tested it out, and we ended up saying everybody was so hospitable. Everybody was kind. It didn't feel intimidating. Everybody welcomed Dresden and Enzo. I mean, for the first few months, you're like, oh, Dresden's mom, because they knew Dresden more than me, because I would train at night. But yeah, I was Dresden's mom because he was still competing heavily during that time. But yeah, that's how we all stayed. Yeah.
And so then the pandemic happened, right? So 2017, that was like 2020, right? 2020. And then I think you came in, and I remember like our kids, like nobody had school or anything, right?
Right.
And then I think you went to the cafe to pick up something, and then like, oh, let me see what's going on, and then it's like, yeah, maybe we should have the kids train a little bit, right? It started like that because started like that, just a couple kids, just our kids really,
Right.
And then once we decided to open up, then it kind of grew, and then because everything was at a standstill, right?
And we couldn't have them not do anything and be in front of the computers.
Computer, yeah.
We were so adamant about staying active, even if we were doing it remotely. When we were doing Zoom,
Right.
I mean, they were there. We did TACFit twice a day.
Yeah.
We did the jiu-jitsu toolbox, the
Grapplers toolbox.
the
Sorry, you guys,
grapplers.
you gotta remember that. You guys are doing. Sorry, we were doing Zooms. We were doing Zooms.
Right.
You guys are training Zooms, and you were on. I remember you were like on your
In the living
computer
room.
in
Yeah.
the living room, and so I saw your living room from Zoom. You're one of the families, right? That I would
Yes,
see.
with club bells.
Yeah,
And
and you guys were
kettlebells.
doing TACFit. You and
TACFit
the boys.
twice a day. We even did capoeira. We did the grapplers toolbox, and then we would drill with now Professor Erica and Josiah. But yeah, we had to maintain that activity because we went from training twice a day in the gym.
I remember your living room. I remember seeing your living room for like a year, and then I actually went to the living room and I was like,
Right.
oh wow,
It's
looks
so small.
looks so small.
It's so small. But yeah, But you made it happen because once we got that mandate, you put things together, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, just so that there wasn't a big hiccup from in-person classes to, remaining active. You didn't even blink. You're like, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to set up Zoom. It just happened.
Yeah. Me and Alshanda, we did with
the guitar in the background.
FaceTime. We did a noon FaceTime because I kept the schedule. Right. We did it live because we didn't have anything set up. We barely knew what Zoom was at the time.
Right. Exactly.
And then we just started doing Facebook Live. And I was like, hey, Alshanda, like we had our little coffee time at 11 a.m. because it was
international. We had international people joining that class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
yeah, it's crazy. That's funny. Yeah, me and Alshanda, we sat outside during that when when it first happened.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
And you know how busy this street is.
Dead.
And then Martino's across the street was still open, so we got our little espresso and around 11 o'clock, and we just sat on the curb. And you can never sit on the curb outside because it's so busy. There was no cars in the street.
Oh, I remember we had like curfews.
Curfews started too. Yeah.
Yeah, we had curfews. Excuse me.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh, well, what do we do? Okay, we knew Facebook Live, so we just pressed the button.
Right, exactly.
And I was like, what are we gonna do? Like, we started to try to answer questions, whatever, just be there, right? Just be there, be present.
Exactly. But we had Zoom.
And I was like, hey, I'll try to bring your guitar
in the background as we're warming up with the stretches.
Oh yeah, because he was
playing the guitar, but it was engaging. It was funny because during that time everybody was serious, everybody was anxious, everybody was scared. Yeah. So
and Alshana was like free spirit, like
right,
whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
It's all good.
Exactly.
A little guitar.
Good. It was good.
And then we got organized and we started having classes, Zoom classes. We had a full schedule, like all day, like every day. Just
the classes were full.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was cool. We came together, made little flyers, like it was just like we have, but everybody was at home. Had people pick up training equipment, right? Kettlebells.
I had kettlebells. I had club bells. I bought mats.
Yeah. And you put those in your living room.
In my living room, my little puzzle mats, because we didn't have that much space.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool time. And then you came in for the cafe to pick up some food.
Yes.
And then I think we saw each other, or I don't know. You talked to Deed or something, and then we put the kids together to train.
Right.
And then
just on the
spot.
Like
the kids fight club, right?
Yes, the baby fight club. Baby fight club.
Because we had the adult fight club, like
exactly.
like it was a couple of people that okay, and then it grew to.
But that was really good because you were teaching them, and that was at the time where obviously there was no competitions, but you were like, okay, let's prep them. We have this time. Let's prep them. Let's condition them. I was in great shape. They were in great shape. So.
Yeah, and then that's when Serena got serious with training.
Exactly, and those two, Serena and Dresden, they have a love-hate relationship. They go at it when they're fighting.
Try to kill each other.
But off the mats, they're like, okay, who wants acai? As if they didn't just kill each other 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But they're good training partners with each other.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. Dresden too,
they push each other.
Yeah, like he's the one. He's her training partner that's pushed her.
They're both very competitive. So that's why they
talk smack to each other and stuff. And
exactly.
She always said, he said this. I'm like, okay, cool.
Or back
show them, or how it doesn't matter what people say. It's like how you react to it, right?
Exactly. Or back where they would just be like, oh, I got armbarred really bad. It's the battle of the arm bars. Who gets it first? They're both armbar people.
Yeah. Dresden was like the
8-second armbar, and like Charlie's like, nah, I could do 7 seconds.
Oh, now after that, she started to armbar everybody, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to keep moving and keep evolving, right? And adding to your game, right? And so. Yeah, I appreciate the time you put into her and the support too. It's been a huge influence on her, loving jiu-jitsu and really doing it and making it a part of who she is. She's my
little jiu-jitsu daughter. All of them. I mean, Sona, her, Sevan too.
Yeah.
And then you take in the boys too. Like, Adit will be like, oh, it's okay. I got the boys. you know. So it's very, like I said, it's very familial, and you don't find that at any other gym. You know, you've created a family here.
Thanks to you, and thanks to all you guys. Right, you guys make the culture what it is. Really, you make this place special.
Right.
Make it the special place it is, with how you guys are. So I appreciate you guys. It's all because it's all of us, right? It's all of us. But thank you. Yeah. What do you think separates like legacy from, because you've been to other gyms,
Yes,
right? Like
yes.
I remember you went to AOJ when you first moved here, right?
Yes. So I've, whenever I travel or whenever, let's say I'm in San Diego, I'll visit other gyms, like in Europe or in the Philippines. What really stands out for legacy is, again, that familial environment. It's very welcoming. You don't walk in and feel intimidated, by the students or by the instructor. It helps because you have a kids program. It helps that your coaches, your professors, they're professional, but they're also, very hospitable. So it really, they represent the gym. The students represent the gym, because I'm sure we weed out the people who have huge egos, and they don't last. They don't last anywhere, but here they don't last.
Yeah. What happens to those people here?
Well, they have a little coming to Jesus talk with you, or or our mat enforcers. We do give them a chance. We give them a chance to see if they can change. But yeah,
we try to help
we
people.
definitely, because we're, as a school, and correct me if I'm wrong, as a school, we do give them chances, because you tell us we don't know what's going on. We don't know their backstory, and they come here for a reason. So when people say, "Oh, Jiu-Jitsu saved my life," look at Ches.
Yeah.
Ches is a perfect example. If we let Ches go, where would he be? So
yeah,
that really separates legacy from other gyms.
That you said that. Yeah. How has Jiu-Jitsu saved your life? How has Jiu-Jitsu helped you in your life?
In many ways, I think the discipline, the way it's changed my character. Historically, I'm very reactive, short-tempered. But learning jiu-jitsu, practicing jiu-jitsu daily, really keeps you grounded. So I don't panic as much. My anxiety levels, if I'm comparing it to before, anxiety level has decreased, because I know, like the tac fit breathing. I didn't know about the tac fit breathing before, or maintaining your composure under duress or a high stress situation. So it really, really helped. And my relationship with my friends, my family, my kids, it's helped the kids, especially for Dresden, who was in high school, going through puberty, hormones, peer pressure. Jiu-Jitsu, even he says Jiu-Jitsu has helped him in, like, what, I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to walk away from any, situation where he feels triggered, he's intimidated, because he knows what he's capable of doing. But he can maintain that composure. So
And walk away.
Same for me. Usually I would engage and, puff my chest, but now I'm able to a certain degree, calm down. That's from practicing. That's from doing jiu-jitsu. You're getting choked out. You just got to take a deep breath, figure how to get out, and, keep going.
Not overthink it or panic, right? In
Exactly.
bad positions.
Exactly. And that's why I do it every day. Every day. 6 days a week. Twice a day. Just for maintenance.
6 days a week.
6 days a week.
And where do you think you're Filipino, right? So say, like, where does that? I was gonna ask you, where does that? Just your giving nature, all the nurses, right?
Right.
But I'm gonna ask you that anyway.
Yeah.
Where do you think that?
I didn't even want to be a nurse.
Because you know you're yeah, you can throw down, you can get, you can sh- you know show.
Yeah, I think I have that potential to be like that. Um, I would lose my temper before. I attribute that to being Filipino. I attribute that to being a single mom, being a matriarch of my family, because, I have my dad, take care of my dad.
Take
I
care
have
of
the kids.
everybody.
But I didn't even plan on being a nurse. I was a computer science major. I was a computer science major, and I worked as a database manager at UCLA. And then my grandmother got sick, so I would go
Your
to work.
grandmother got sick, so your
Yes.
dad's mother.
Yes, exactly. So my dad's mother got sick, and I ended up, taking care of her. And I got really close to the nurses who were mostly Filipino, and the aides. And so I essentially, when she passed, before she passed, I decided to go back to school and become a nurse, because of my grandmother, and I've been a nurse for almost 20 years.
Wow. What got you into like computer science? What made you want to do
Money.
that? Okay. Okay.
For the money. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a journalist. My
Okay.
aunt, my paternal aunt, my dad's sister, is a English professor. So I wanted to go into journalism. I did that in junior high. I was in, the journalism club. And I was like, okay, I want to be a writer. And I'm like, I don't know if that would do. I don't think it's going to. I had a kid. I got accepted to Boston College, but I couldn't move there because I didn't have anybody to take care of my daughter at the time. So I switched that, decided to just go to school locally and major in computer science. And I'm like, I figured the money was good, but there was no reward. It wasn't a rewarding. It's very mundane. It wasn't a very rewarding job. Paid well. It definitely paid well, but it wasn't very rewarding.
It's because you're in front of the computer.
Yes. Ironically, I still am.
Right. Right. So what do you do now? You're like an admin?
Yes. So I do denial. So I'm like a clinical review nurse.
Okay. And probably because you already had that experience, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
they're like,
So
we're going to put you doing this.
Exactly. So I'm not a nurse at the bedside. I do things from the administrative side. So.
Yeah.
Or I play nurse at the gym sometimes. Drain people's ears.
What do you love about tournaments and stuff? Because, we're always at the tournaments. And did you compete ever?
I did as white belt.
With Legacy?
No.
Okay,
I came to Legacy as a blue belt.
Because you're always there. You're always
Yes.
like, you feel the spirit. Like
Yes.
you're coaching and you're
Yes.
there. You're supporting
Yes.
from the kids to the adults. Anjanette, okay, we're good.
Yeah. I competed once as a white belt, and in gi and no gi, but again, it was the anxiety. I was very nervous. I couldn't shake off the nerves, and I just blanked out when I competed. So I'm like, okay, this is not in me. I could have pushed. And just kept doing it. But I was so distraught by that first competition, and said, okay, I won't do it, but I will focus on my kids.
We'll take you as the supporter for
Right?
all of us.
I know.
I appreciate that. We
Yes.
appreciate that. All of us.
I am not a competitor. However, I can be, either the coach or be that supportive person in matches or at the tournaments. So I refocused my attention towards like my kids at the time, and then up until now.
Yeah. Dresden was competing in the kids' pans.
Yes.
He was competing on a lot of things, right? And during gray belt.
Every month, every week.
Every week?
Almost every week. Even when we were living in Virginia, we would travel to New York. We would travel to North Carolina, Pennsylvania for Naga. And here he was on hiatus, but we continue.
What did you like about him competing, the kids competing?
I wanted him to push himself, that there are no limits. I wanted him to keep going. So let's say he lost a fight, you know, you shake it off. We're going to do it again. We're going to keep going. And he had that determination, you know. He'd just shake it off, you know. He'll review his fights and be like, oh, okay. And then he would just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, it's now they're going through puberty and, you know.
Oh, I know. And then
they
the
change
attitudes.
attitudes.
Yeah, the attitudes, you know, they don't want to train. So like for the kids, like, okay, we're going to condition today. We're going to drill today, you know, be like, oh, do we have to, you know, they hesitate, but then I'm on them because, you know, I don't give them options.
Yeah.
You're going to do it. You want to compete? Okay, then you got to put the work in. So
He's 14?
he's 14.
14. Yeah, it's crazy. It's around the corner. They're going to be in the juvenile blue belts.
I know.
And then they're going to be adults, full-on adults.
Exactly. But you've helped Dresden because you've had conversations with Dresden where, because he was on that hiatus of like, oh, I don't want to compete. Like he didn't want to do jiu-jitsu. But you said just get in there. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Talked to Stephen Ho, you know, the Twinch's dad, right? And I love his attitude towards competing, like for his kids. I know they're still little, but just not caring about the winning or losing.
Exactly.
Because it's really in the doing is where you learn and get better.
The process.
The process, because, you know, of course you want to win and you want to do good, but it's like training basically, right?
Right.
And you're going to get good.
Right.
And once you get over the part of losing, like it doesn't matter. It matters, right? But it doesn't matter in the big picture.
Right.
Because you learn by losing, by doing it, you know?
Exactly. And that's what I tell the kids.
Yeah. And so it's been fun, right? We've been going to the Jiu-Jitsu World Leagues and stuff. And no matter what, like, just get out there, right?
Exactly. And like you said, don't focus on the outcome. You focus on the process. Okay, if you win, great. If you don't, okay, learn from it. And then we'll just do the next one.
Yeah. And to break down his, look at his match, the last one, the San Diego one.
It's always half guard. Half guard.
Half guard?
It's always half guard. Half guard for him. But he knows, you know, again, they're at that age where like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm gonna, cause Sereny needs it too. I should just do some videos and then I'll send it to them and then send it to you. And then, cause Sereny doesn't want to listen to me. Like, I don't know anything, right? Right? I don't, how does that work? Yeah, you know, like she doesn't, no, that's not, no, you don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. You guys butt heads because, I don't know. It's that that parent-child dynamic. Same with Dresden with me.
Teenager, but I think we have similar personalities, same personality.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And she's highly competitive.
Yeah.
Highly competitive. So, but that's why those two are great partners. They're really good training partners. And Serena with her, I can throw that little maternal, like still be firm.
Yeah.
Let her know what the expectations are, but she follows through.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you.
She follows through.
Teamwork makes the dream work,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So, congratulations on your black belt.
Thank you. Thank you.
How did it feel when you got promoted?
That promotion, the graduation was a blur. It was a blur. I was so nervous. I still have imposter syndrome where I feel like, okay, I'm not worthy, or I don't feel I'm at that level. But it's not up to me. It's not up to me. I think I just have to work up to that level. I'll never be comfortable. That's not the point. But just remaining consistent. You see me every day.
What does a black belt mean?
It's not whether you win competitions. Let's say you have a black belt. Oh, they're really, really good. It's the mentality behind it. It's the discipline, remaining consistent. A lot of the black belts in our group, like the women, we call ourselves the Fantastic Four. They're athletic and, they're competitors. I'm not. However, I come in every day. I train consistently. You know, it's the mentality, it's the discipline. For me, that's what a true black belt is. You just keep going, and it's for me. This is just the beginning.
You show up.
Yeah, you show up. You show up.
Even when you don't feel like it. Are there moments where you maybe pull in and you're like,
yes,
I really feel like training today.
I'm sore. You know, all these excuses. I'm like, no, you just go. You just go. And like I said, this is just the beginning. But remaining consistent, showing up, having a really good support system here helped me. But yeah, just always showing up. Like I said in my spirit, I don't have shame in tapping. I see all of my training when they do. It's a lesson for me, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for it. There will be times lower belts will tap me out, if not daily, but I'm grateful because I'm still learning. It just doesn't end here. This is just the beginning.
Yeah. You mentioned the Fantastic Four. So we had 4 black belts in your class, female black belts.
Is that the most you've promoted in one?
Of course, yeah, of course. I mean, there's like one maybe. We had 2 because I had Sarah and I had CJ back in the day, which was like a rarity.
Yes.
But even anywhere around the world, like to have 4 black belts at once is pretty cool.
It is, and it's an honor to be with them because they were part of, they call it the journey, the jiu-jitsu journey. But I remember doing comp classes with them, pushing each other, pushing Erica when she was competing, Andrea, pushing me, Monica. We become very tight during that. So it was very serendipitous when we all got it together. It was like very touching.
Why do you think there's 4? Why do you think not 4, but like why do you think we have? There's a lot of females that train here. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Why do you think that we have that here? Just that
at the gym.
There's a strong female presence.
There's a very strong female presence. So before, I would not roll with women. I preferred to roll with men because the women that I've encountered, it was always very catty,
Catty.
Yeah, it was very catty. But here, you don't get that. You don't get that catty, bitchy, kind of egotistical, Here it's like we want to empower you. So that's like as evidenced by, Monica's women's class.
It's interesting you say that because since the beginning, since we had our first women's only class, there's always issues.
Yes.
There's always been issues.
Yeah.
Like some kind of cattiness.
It's female, yeah.
And now it's not like that.
No. It's very, again, it goes back to being very familiar. It's very supportive. We empower the women. We encourage. And that's thanks to, Andrea, Monica.
You guys are all badasses. That's why.
We just want more. We want jiu-jitsu offers.
It brings. I think it brings out there's a respect there,
Yes.
like a deep respect, like.
Yes.
And I think that's the difference.
Yes.
You guys have put in the work.
Yes.
You guys have put in the time.
Exactly. Yeah, we definitely put in the time, but we want to share that. We want to pay it forward to other women, and I didn't even call it the Fantastic Four. I don't know where. I think Andrea came up with that because she's like Miss Positivity. But yeah, it resonates to the women. That's why there's a huge following.
How can jiu-jitsu help a female, a woman?
Oh, number one I can think of is self-defense and confidence. Like for me, it created that situational awareness. And if you keep training and if you keep doing jiu-jitsu, if you encounter a dangerous situation, it gives you that awareness. Okay, this is the threat. This is what I can do. This is what I'm capable of doing. You can size them up.
You can assess it properly.
Yes. So that's helped. And we hear it from the women that train. So that's the self-defense and confidence is definitely one of the 2 major.
How does your confidence develop in jiu-jitsu?
It it challenges your self-doubt. So when you're rolling, so if I'm like, there'll be days, like for example, I chose to roll with Eddie, who is easy 6'4", maybe.
That's right.
I don't want to say his weight, but probably really
He's
big.
300 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, about.
I mean, not like fat. He's just big, strong.
Guy.
Yeah.
Yes, big and strong. Exactly. But I challenge myself because the way I think is, okay, what if I encounter this person on the street? What if this is a threat to me? How am I going to, get out of this? So I asked him to roll with me, and obviously there's a weight disparity, there's a weight difference, but I know what I can do. I know how I can get out of certain things. I'm not looking to attack him. I want to learn how to defend myself with somebody like that.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to roll. Not easy.
You would never encounter that. You probably like freeze if there's you encounter somebody like that. But because you have you're familiar with that.
Right. I'm conditioned.
You know what the person can do to control you.
Exactly.
And you know what you're capable of.
Exactly.
In a situation like that. And so because of that, you stay calmer.
Exactly.
And you're able to think clearly.
And that's what I even tell my daughter to try jiu-jitsu, but
has she done it yet? Has she done the women's class at least?
No,
because even just knowing the positions, right?
Exactly. I tried. But, that when I talk about jiu-jitsu, I feel like I'm a commercial. I feel like I want people to drink the jiu-jitsu Kool-Aid.
You want to help people.
Exactly.
And you want to share the gift with them.
Yes, and there are many more pros than there are cons. I can't even think of a con. There's so many advantages, so many benefits, so many.
Talk to me about some of them.
For me personally, jiu-jitsu has definitely built up my confidence. I have that, the arsenal of things that I can do to defend myself if I were put in a situation. It's great for health and fitness. I mean, I've lost almost 30 pounds doing it. And of course you have that support group. It's a sorority, a fraternity of people who are like-minded.
Doing positive things for themselves.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Trying to create the best version of themselves.
Exactly. And I like to tell people, for example, if a new student comes in, help them, with the drills or the warm-ups or, be very welcoming, because that's how I felt when I came in. And that's why I stayed. Had I not had that first impression, I would have been in another gym. But that first impression really helps.
Yeah, love it. You talked about, there's a follow-up question with what I asked you. So, I asked Coyce Gracie, I asked Saulo Ribeiro, I asked all these, first, for me, Saulo Ribeiro is one of the goats, in
yes,
jiu-jitsu
exactly.
for me. But all these, people that have dedicated their lives to jiu-jitsu, what's the biggest thing that jiu-jitsu has given you? There's so many benefits. You're listing some of them. What's the biggest thing? If you take a step back, right? Because, a lot of people think, oh, it's just self-defense. But that's just, the tip, right?
Right.
It's, so much more. That just keeps giving, right?
Right. So there is an emotional and a psychological aspect to that. So jiu-jitsu has given me that emotional and a little bit of psychological clarity.
How?
So again, if I always think of it, for me, it's the self-defense thing and the confidence thing, that if I am under duress or in a dangerous situation, I have the clarity to respond and react. So let's say I didn't have the training, my reaction would be far more different had I not trained or had years of training under my belt. So it really gives you that clarity, that mental and emotional clarity.
So what do you think the biggest thing, if it's if you had to choose one thing?
Confidence. Definitely.
It'd be interesting when I ask you, maybe in 10 years,
I know
the same question.
Exactly.
Because all these guys that have dedicated their lives, even they're not that old, but they've dedicated, they've been around on the mats their whole lives. And the same, they say the same thing. It's interesting. Is
Really?
community. Yeah.
Yeah.
The relationships.
Yes. Oh, well, yes.
That's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
Like
Because,
it's,
that's
it,
considered.
all that stuff is connected.
Right, exactly. For me personally, yes. What has the community given me? Yes, it's definitely given me, you know, a relationship, that family. I'm closer to people at the gym than anybody outside of the gym. I met most of my best friends through the gym, through jiu-jitsu, and built that family. It's definitely opened up doors. I mean, you can roll with a doctor. You know, it's a networking thing too. You can roll with a doctor, a lawyer, you know,
Movie stars, janitors.
Exactly. In all walks of life. But once you're on the mat, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't.
The the relationships. I think like the community, like, you know, during the pandemic, you know, we when we thought the protests like we're going to come to town, we all you came with weapons and everything because you know what's that?
Are we like?
I mean, whatever, you know, nothing happened, you know, but we were like, not that we wanted to, but you know, we were ready. But the thing, what I was gonna say is, so many people messaged me and, you know, messaged us too, like caring for the gym. Like we had a community because it was crazy. It was crazy times. We didn't know what was going to happen. Like there's these lockdowns. You're not allowed to leave your house. You're like all these rules, like, you know, and what's going to happen?
Right.
What's going to happen? And one of the things that gave me confidence, I don't know how you feel, but was that we had a community, you know, we had a community, like no matter what, like, hey, let's meet at the gym. We have a nice setup too with like a, what do you call it? Like a castle, you know, we have a little castle, but you know, just we have the community, and no matter what, like we're going to be okay as long, because we have each other. Like between like Sal is like, oh, we're not going to run out of bullets. Not that we're going to be looking for like anything like that.
We have a pallet of ammo. We got you.
You know, but just, you know, the fact that we have each other, like no matter what, like we can build, you know.
But you never even had to ask.
Right. I didn't have to ask. No.
You never had to
Everybody
ask.
was just ready to support and to come in and let me know. And, you know, from firefighters to police to just people in the neighborhoods, they were like messaging me.
Yes.
Like what, you know, giving me heads up on what's happening.
But that's a true representation of the gym that you have and the community that you've built. So, like I said, nobody had to ask. You never had to ask. People were coming to you to help the gym. To help, yeah. Because it's such a, it's almost like a sanctuary. It's therapeutic. People come here for therapy. You know, bad day at work.
I come for therapy.
Right? Bad day at home. You come to the gym and you never feel like crap afterwards. There's never a day where you leave after training and you feel like crap. It's almost impossible. When you're training, you always feel good. And then you're like, okay, thank goodness I didn't skip today. Because I know when I skip, I'm like, oh, I feel like crap. I feel like shit. And that's what forces me to come every day. That's why I tell the kids. Because they tell me, oh, we didn't train today. You know, can we train tomorrow? So.
Yeah, like dealing with that too. But the difference between those that do and that don't are the people that show up, right? Going back to the beginning.
Right, because I may not be the greatest jiu-jitsu player, but I show up. I show up every day. Every day.
Yeah, I say that to Sarah, and I'm like, you know, one thing I can give you is just the discipline. Like that's what I can give you. And I say that to all the kids, all my kids.
Exactly, and it's up to you to put the work.
Yeah. So speaking of that, where does your discipline come from? Because you're like, I got discipline from jiu-jitsu, but I feel like you brought discipline to jiu-jitsu and you give it to others as well, and it's something very deep inside of you. From, you know, putting yourself through school to being a mom, you know, single mom, like just doing everything that you do, like multitasking.
I don't know if I get it from somebody in particular, either my father or my mother. I think it's I'm the product of the environment I was raised, well, not raised in, but lived through, survived. I don't like using the word survivor. I just powered through things because I had a kid. I had my daughter when I was 17. I was pregnant at 16.
Wow.
I still graduated high school because I wanted to prove to the haters, because at the time, like, oh, you know, you're gonna drop out of high school, you know, you probably do drugs, you're not gonna make it because you're a teenage mom. So I wanted to prove not only to myself, and you know, to the people who were discouraging me, and that kept me going, and my kids kept me going. Like, you know, I had to keep going for my kids. That's my number one motive. Number one. And like, who else is gonna do it? Who else is gonna do it? Nobody else is gonna do it, you know, but me. Like my dad, when I was growing up, he's like, well, who's gonna do it for you? What if I wasn't here to provide you any help? Who's gonna do it for you? You. Do not rely on anybody. You gotta do it by yourself. Act as if nobody else is gonna help you. Don't be a victim.
Don't be a victim.
Don't be a victim. You want that you have haters? Prove them wrong. That's my fuel to this day. That's why I tell my kids.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
That's where my tenacity comes
Love
from. it. Because people at the gym know me like, oh, you're so tough. You're so hard on the kids. I am, but you know, there's a method. There's a reason behind it, because you know, I don't want them to have that victim mentality.
I love haters too.
I do too. It fuels.
I love haters.
I gotta keep them employed.
Even, you know, when I think about people, I changed it too. Right, like, thank you for being a hater.
Yeah, exactly.
It helped me a lot to do better.
And that's why I don't have animosity, or I don't have hate. I don't have hate on people who, you know, talk smack or discourage me. I'm like, thank you. You know, I'll just keep proving you wrong. So.
Love it, Anjanette. Love it. Congratulations on your black belt.
Thank you. It's an honor to be a black belt under Professor Alberto Crane.
Thank you, Anjanette. Thank you for everything again that you've done for myself, for my family, from my kids to my dad, to everybody. My family, legacy family, that you do for all of us every single day. I love you. We love you. You're amazing.
It's my family. It's my family. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's an honor. Thanks.
Thank you.